Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And in this lesson, I wanted to do an exhortation, all right, dealing with we have to finish the cup. And this is, this comes amidst some meditation on these recent articles that have been coming out, along with, prophecy being fulfilled and so on and so forth. But just looking at the other side of things, looking more inward towards us as individuals, laboring in the work of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, just to exhort, one another to continue doing what it is that we have been doing. Because though you may have others that may look at us and have, all manner of things to say that may not be good, all right, and they may scoff or try to demonize us, clearly we've been doing something right if the Most High still has us here, in this spirit, still pushing on strong. And we believe that we are the true servants of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. But as these prophecies get fulfilled, it is also very important that we also keep in mind, as the Apostle Paul said. All right, let's see. Let me just bring that up first. All right, as these things occur, this is 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5. It says, "Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahushua HaMashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates." Because as prophecy is being fulfilled, remember, we're still drinking this cup. And when Yahushua returns, we won't have to drink of this cup anymore. But we are at the point where, we're finishing the dregs, okay, of the cup, the little remains at the end. And, there's certain drinks that when you first get it, it's sort of the strongest taste of it is really when there's just a little bit of it left, because sometimes it settles to the bottom. So as you get to finishing the cup, you start to really taste the concoction or the drink or whatever more. And that's why, of course, we're happy that we're finishing the cup. We only have a little bit left to go. But you have to remember that you still have to finish that cup. Okay, you still have to finish that cup. Prophecy is being fulfilled and it's going to continue to be fulfilled. But we know that, all right, once this MOTB comes out and they make it mandatory, and World War III pops off, Yahushua is still coming with the angels, with the chariots to deliver his elect. That is going to happen. That's a given. But you have to keep your body under subjection and examine yourself so that you may, Lord willing, be counted worthy in that day to be one of those that gets delivered. Because the deliverance is going to come. And yes, we're focused on that because it's prophecy. And we all about prophecy. So we know the deliverance is going to come. We're focused on it. We see it coming to pass. But we also have to look at ourselves and make sure that as prophecy is in line, we are also in line. All right, because especially at the last minute when these things are happening, that's the last time you want to really lose focus, okay, or start slacking, and going in a wayward way, whether through pride or distractions or entanglements in the world or whatever the case may be. Okay, the fact that prophecy is popping off means that we have to be in a more ready mind state, redeeming the times, because the days are evil. Because ultimately, if you don't finish that cup, you ain't gonna get what comes next. You're not gonna get that reward. At least you're not gonna be a part of the first round. All right. So I want to start with the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 7. Like I said, it's a brief exhortation, and Lord willing, it is edifying and exhorting to continue doing what you're doing. All right, to continue working, because it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off big time. And we usually look at the grand scheme, the big reward, but the works that we're doing is going to pay off starting right now, starting heavily in Jacob's trouble. Because the Lord, if you're of his elect, if you've been serving him in a way that pleases him, then come the time when all hell breaks loose, you're going to be taken care of then, going into being delivered, going into getting your body changed, going into immortality. So the reward is going to start really when you need the Lord the most. Because when we seek the Lord, we're going to find him. And that's because when he was to be found, we sought him. When he was here, we sought him. We didn't wait till our calamities came upon us before we tried to seek him. Because if you wait till then and then you seek the Lord, well, what works or what merit do you have to show the Lord? Why should he? Okay, you finally called on him, and then he says, what do you want? And then you tell him what you want, but then the question comes up, well, why should he do it? What have you done for him? And then the problem is you may be willing, but you might not have time to do anything for him because he's coming to collect. All right, he's coming to collect. You don't have time to trade. You don't have time to go and turn money into more money to give to him. He's already collecting. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 7, starting at verse 6. It says, "There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water." So you have the city, right? This broad, is set in a broad field, but it's just, and it's full of all good things, which is where we want to go, where we're going to get our rest. But the thing is, to get to that city, the entrance there is very, very narrow, and there's danger on both sides of it. Fire on one hand, and a water on the left. A deep water on the other hand, which represent the difficulties. All right, of basically staying on the straight gate, and the consequences of falling from this path. So those that fell out of the truth, in other words, they would be like one that fell into the fire or fell into the water. Verse 8, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. So you can't, you have to walk that path by yourself. You can't try to hold on to another brother and say, I'm gonna hold on to him so we can both go together. You're gonna have to walk that path by yourself. That's why it's so small that only one man can go there at once. The cup that you're drinking, if the next brother finishes his cup, he can't drink yours. You have to drink yours. You have to finish your cup if you want that reward. Verse 9, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive his inheritance? So you may know that, yes, that city beyond this path is mine. But what good is that if you can't get to it? I know that car is mine, but if I can't get to the car, how does that benefit me? Okay? What benefit is it? So now you got to be able to have it in your mind ready that, well, I know that it's mine, but now I gotta be willing to go the path that'll lead me to it. It says, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive his inheritance? And that's ultimately what ties back in here. When in this truth, if you don't follow this path, okay, if you don't continue in this way and teaching and following the path that you know to be right, how you gonna get to the end? How you gonna get delivered? And now really everybody should be charged up, because you're seeing the major, we're literally seeing, how do I put this into words? Imagine, I don't know, you're looking for a specific kind of fish, and you throw some breadcrumbs on the top of the water, and you waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and then you finally start to see the figure of that fish at the surface of the water, and then you start to see the shape, and then you start to see the color, and then you start to actually see the fish itself. All right, and then it slowly starts to come to the surface of the water, before it, I guess, comes out of the water. So that's where we're at right now. We're at the point where we can actually see the fish, and we're seeing the fish at the surface of the water, and it's getting ready to come out of that water. And so we know that the fish exists, and we know that the fish is exactly what we thought it would look like. And I'm relating that to the prophecy or the prophecies, and right now that main one being the MOTB. The term MOTB was written in Revelation 13 and 16 in the spelled out way. Of course, we use the acronym to try and dodge these YouTube algorithms, but that term is a biblical term. Now, to identify what the MOTB is, and connect it with a real world thing, we say that the real world thing that is spoken about as the MOTB in the Bible is the charagma, is the grain of rice, is the thing that goes under the skin that can be used for buying and selling. All right, the CHIP. See? So now we're seeing it all around. And what is that doing? That's making us even more excited, because it's showing us that all the work that we've done, starting from the elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down, we've been laboring in the correct thing. We haven't been wasting our time. All the works that we've been doing it the right way. All the energy that we've been exerting it into the right thing. And so it makes you want to continue working hard. It makes you want to continue, in that spirit, because you're seeing that your works are not in vain. You're seeing that, yeah, this is it. We got it right. We got to be the prophets of the Lord. And everybody else is going to see it. But whether they believe it, accept it or not, that's okay. It don't matter. All right? Because we accept it. So it's a beautiful thing to see these things come to pass. But we also have to remember, as these things are coming to pass, you want to make sure that you are continuing on the path. And I'll give you a visual example. Imagine what we just read in 2nd Esdras. You're on this path, and you're going, and you get to the point where you can see, right, the other side of this narrow path, and you're like, oh my gosh, it looks so beautiful. You got to make sure that, yes, it's beautiful. Yes, you're excited, but don't get distracted. Don't forget, you're still on the path. And if you get distracted, you might just fall, even though you're close to the end of the path. If you're not careful, you can still fall off into the fire or into the water. All right. So this is Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. It says, be not deceived. The Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So you get out what you put in. You can only withdraw what you've deposited. Verse 8, for he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. And we've been sowing to the Spirit. That's why we don't give in to the vain pleasures of the flesh. There's certain things that you do, all right, but we're not driven by our flesh. We prioritize the Spirit. We do the works of the Spirit above the works of the flesh. Verse 9, and let us not be weary in well-doing. That's the key part. Yes, you may be tired. Yes, it may be a long walk. Yes, it's so much. But at the end of the day, the time is only getting shorter and shorter. So let us not be weary in well-doing. Don't get tired of doing the works. Don't get tired of doing videos. Don't get worn out of going out there to the highways and byways. All right? And that's why the Lord has these prophecies. They happen, and they're supposed to boost up your spirit to see that not only that the words in the scriptures are coming to pass, but that the way we broke it down is correct and it's coming to pass. And that shows that what the Lord is dealing with us. Okay, because he is dealing with our elders to give them, starting with Apostle Tahar on down, the correct understanding of it. But he's also dealing with us for us to believe it and to teach it. You see, because not everybody teaches that. So that means that the Lord needs to open your eyes and open up your mind for you to be able to believe it and to teach it. And even for those that may not be teachers, if you believe it, then the Lord, you know what I'm saying? If you're of the elect and you believe in the doctrine, then the Lord is dealing with you for you to be able to understand that. But then always remember the balance. Just because the Lord is dealing with you now doesn't mean that he will be dealing with you later. So that's the fear. Okay, that's the fear. That's why we keep ourselves in check. That's why we say the hopeful elect, because we fear the Lord. And until we're certain, until our asses are on them chariots, you still got to have that hope and that fear. Galatians 6:9, let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Because you've sown, but at some point you need to come and reap what you've sown. If you don't reap, then you're not going to get back anything. You put in the work, but if you don't come and get the reward, how are you going to get the reward? How are you going to receive it? You got to go get it. Okay? You got to go get it. And we can see our reward, but now we have to go and get the reward. We have to finish our work. Okay? We have to clock out. You may put in all that work, but it has to be docked. It has to be clocked, you know? And that doesn't stop until Yahushua comes back. The grinding doesn't stop until the Lord stops us. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7, it says, and this is the Apostle Paul speaking, I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Because we're seeing, remember, we're seeing the MOTB. We're seeing these prophecies, but there's a bit more to the MOTB than just seeing it come to pass. Remember, we still have to go through the hour of temptation. We still have to go through the time of decision where we're all tested. Whether your life is on the line, whether your family's life is on the line, whatever situation you find yourself in, that is accompanied with the MOTB. That comes with the MOTB. So we're excited that we're seeing this prophecy come to pass, but we have to remember to finish the cup, even if it means you might have to lose your life in accordance with this prophecy. Or you might have to lose things or people in accordance with this prophecy. So let's keep reading. It says, I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Henceforth, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day. And not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing, which are who? The elect. So if there's a crown laid up for you, you got to finish your course. The crown is for those that finish their course. He that overcometh. Okay, he that endureth unto the end. So the moral or the point of this lesson is, as we are seeing prophecy being fulfilled and we are getting excited, and it's good, it keeps you charged in the spirit, also look inward and examine yourself. Because along with this prophecy also comes the hour of temptation. Also comes, the other things that are going to be the hardest part we've seen yet. So we got to also be mentally prepared. Prophecy is prepared, but you got to be prepared to go through that prophecy. All right. But just know that we are closer now than we have ever been. And tomorrow will be even closer than we are today. So we're getting closer and closer and closer. And this is going to become more commonplace until you start seeing it used in America. You start seeing people getting it, celebrities promoting it, news stations talking about it. And eventually they're going to shift it. They're going to shift the old system to the new system. And it'll happen right before your eyes, just like it's a movie. All right. So with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.